Hello students, I welcome you to the last part of our governance of April month. So we'll wrap up governance with this session. So we'll start with the flagship scheme. First one we're gonna see is Nidhi, and within Nidhi Prayas program. So why it is in the news? Because Nidhi, what is full form of Nidhi? So it is national initiative for developing and harnessing the innovations. Okay, so it supports the basic small innovations, and if they are good, so it can be scaled up with the support from this program. Okay, so new piece of technology that has come, that is Skytech Aeron. So what is this? This is just a ion generators. Okay, so how it will work, we'll see. So it generates the ions, and these ions will be able to fight the COVID-19 virus. Okay, so let us see. So Skytech Aeron ionizer machine generates negatively charged particles at around 100 million per 8 seconds. It will increase the body's resistance to the infection and harmful environmental factors. So the background of this can be seen in the, for example, in the March Science, we have read that how soaps work on the COVID-19, right? Any of the soap or how this sanitizers and all work. So basically, this is a structure of the virus, right? So this within the soap, this hydrophobic and hydrophilic tail. So this hydrophobic tail gets into it and it destroys its. It destroys the outer cover of the microorganism and it destroys it. Okay, and that's why that's why it is very efficient, the soaps. Similar idea is with respect to ions also. So these ions also will break into this ions will also break down the outer protein of these, whether it be virus, bacteria, in fact in pathogens like influenza virus, you can see polio virus, coronavirus, range of bacteria, fungi, right? So this is similar to the detergent theory. This is how the same principle it will work. This Skytech Aeron, right? So it will help to fight against the indoor virus, bacteria, fungal infection. So when, for example, this is situated, this is established within a hospital parameter, so it will do the mass sanitization. So it is a very cost effective and very innovative piece of technology, ensuring the well-being of staff, doctor and the nurses. So this is approved under the Nidhi Prayas program. So coming back to the Nidhi program under the Department of Science and Technology. So purpose of the program obviously is to provide the technological solution not only to the society, obviously societal needs are important, but also to avenue for the wealth and the job creation, right? So it will focus on helping the startups to meet their funding, infrastructure, everything, the incubation, every component of what is required from a startup to make an idea into a successful product. Okay, right. So within the Nidhi program, so Nidhi is a big, you can say, umbrella program. So within the Nidhi program, this Prayas program is there. That is promotion and acceleration of young and aspiring technology for entrepreneurs. Nidhi Prayas. So support idea to prototype. Right. So this technology is developed under the Nidhi Prayas program. And this is just you need to keep in mind. So Nidhi becomes an important initiative. Now we have read in the economics also Nidhi companies. So some confusion can be there. So if the question can come very will be easy. So Nidhi scheme is in the news, what is it is for? So 1 2 3 4, one of the two options can be for the economics, helping SHG or something, but it is a very easy related to the startups and the science and technology. Next is in the March month we have read about the government intervention for the bulk drug production. Now we have read that we lag in API, active pharmaceutical ingredient. We import a lot of API. So the government has given push for the manufacturing of these bulk drugs. So government is putting some incentive schemes. So promotion of the bulk incentive program scheme. We have read that in March, right? So recently it was in the news in the April month that the EIA for setting up of these bulk drug parks, because the bulk drug includes a lot of the bulk drug includes a lot of technological establishment, chemical industry and all these which require EIA. But to accelerate this program, to accelerate the development of this bulk drug parks, the government has said, okay, we will water down the EIA requirements, right? So to address down the unprecedented situation due to the coronavirus and to ramp up the availability of these APIs, various drugs. So Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has made amendment to the EIA notification 2006. So what they have done? They have addressed, they have with the all the projects and activity which are related to this manufacturing of this bulk drugs under this scheme will be recategorized from existing A category to the B2 category. We'll see this A category to the B2 category. So when it is recategorized, so the idea is to ease the EIA process of it, right? So after doing this decentralization of the green note process from center to the state, they have received a lot of proposals as well. Now EIA becomes very important this year, not because of this particular scheme per se, just one second, not because of this scheme per se, but EIA notification 2020. Now if you have been active on social media or on YouTube, you must have seen many of the videos that are coming that EIA 2020 is not good, right? Many arguments are given that draft is there. So ministry has asked for draft, ministry has released the draft and asked for public consultation. It is in the and many of the editorials also of Hindu. So EIA 2020 draft becomes important, and EIA becomes important for both our prelims and our mains. Okay, not for prelims much, but for mains it becomes important, really important. So what we have read, just to clarify that, so EIA clearance formula. So EIA basically is released under 1986 Environmental Protection Act. In 2006 EIA rules have come out. So basically all the projects are divided into two categories, category A and category B. Okay, so category A are the national level appraisals and category B are the state level appraisals. So for category A, there is a committee made impact assessment agency, expert appraisal committee, and for category B at the state level, committees such as state level environment impacts assessment authority and state level expert appraisal committee will be made. Not very important. But within B category, we have two more projects, B1 and B2. So B1 projects at the state level, we have B1 and B2. B1 does not require any EIA. Okay, B1 requires EIA, B2 does not require any EIA. Now if you have read this bulk drug program, they shift from A to B2 directly. Okay, so these are the four stages of EIA: screening, scoping, public hearing, appraisal. But we'll discuss in some other chapter in detail what each step is. From the name itself, screening. Okay, first screen the projects, then scoping, what are the areas under which we have to evaluate this project. Then public hearing, that means all the stakeholders who are affected by it will be given a chance for the consultation, and finally the appraisal will be done. Okay, so this bulk drug scheme has shifted from A to B2. So understood, I believe. A, that is from center, to the B2, that is to the state, and within the state also, which does not require a mandatory EIA. Okay, so the idea obviously is to give easy entry to this bulk drug programs, and the concern is the COVID-19. Next is India Child Protection Fund. So this fund, first of all, is not related to the government. Okay, it is related to a NGO or non-NGO or non-civil society. That is the son of the Nobel laureate Kailash Satyarthi, that is Bhuvan Ribo. Okay, it was set up in January, and the idea is to support NGO with funding resources for curbing the exploitation for the children. Kailash Satyarthi, you know, the Nobel laureate who has been working for the child right, child exploitation for many decades. Right. Next is the institutions in news. First one is Bureau of Outreach and Communication. So from the name itself, Bureau of Outreach and Communication. So it is under which ministry? Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Okay. So in 2017, it was formed, this bureau, by merging of the integration of earlier two directorates, that is Directorates of Advertising and Visual Publicity and Directorate of Field Publicity and Song and Drama Division. Not important. Okay. Just remember that 2017 it was made by integration of the earlier two agencies. Then what is the work of the BOC? It provides the communication solutions to various agencies of the government. So various departments, agency. So the communication solutions to it. Okay. It engages in educating people, both rural and urban, about the government policy program. That is the work of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. In fact, why it was in the news, very funny, the government has said to the departments of various ministry that do not publish too many of the calendars and diary. Okay. So basically what is being done? So this institute, this BOC basically provides these needs of the departments. But apart from that, the departments are also publishing their own. So the government has told these, that was a small news, that is why it was in the news, has told these departments that do not do this. Okay. Right. It is headed by a Director General and manned by the officials of the Indian Information Service and ex-cadre of the previously institutes which were integrated to form this particular Bureau of Outreach and Communication. Again, as we always read the institution, they are the yearbook stuff, right? But they are in the news, that is why we have to cover it. Otherwise, they are not very important. Next is Software Technology Park of India, STPI. So this is under METI, Ministry of Electronics, Information and Technology. It's an autonomous society under this particular ministry. It was established in 1991 with the objective of encouraging, promoting and boosting the, so from the name itself you can see Software Technology Park of India. So just as we have the bulk drug parks, we have the mega food parks, similar to that, to promote the software industry, IT industry in India, these parks being made. In fact, the success of the IT industry in India is that one of the factors, attributing factor, is the early intervention of the government at this level. You can see Software Technology Park of India, this scheme is really old, 1991. So from that time, it is providing all the infrastructural needs, all the infrastructural needs, statutory clearances of these software technology companies, isn't it? So why it was in the news? Because due to coronavirus, the government, the METI, has decided to provide the rental waiver to the IT companies which are established in these premises. So if any company is there in this particular Software Technology Park of India, for example, you can see this is in Bangalore, sorry. So they will be provided some rental waivers, because a lot of period was done during the lockdown, and the government, it is a way of government supporting these particular companies, right? Okay. So this is Software Technology Park of India. Just remember the ministry name, right? METI. Next is Power System Operation Corporation Limited. So POSOCO. Not very important institution, but it was in the news because on the 5th April, our Prime Minister has said for 9 minutes we have to shut down our lights for 9 minutes at 9 p.m. I think, right? So because of that, a lot of news has come that grid failure can come and all these, and that is why this institute came in news. So this institute is a wholly owned Government of India enterprise under Ministry of Power. It runs the National Load Dispatch Center. Okay, so the responsibility to ensure the integrated operation of the grid in a reliable, efficient, and the secure manner lies upon this institute. Okay, so it was, again to reiterate, it was in the news with respect to the 9 p.m. 9-minute initiative of the Prime Minister. Okay, all right. So right. So what was the grid challenge basically? So you see, before 9 p.m. and 9:09, after 9 minutes. So this is a, for example, baseline demand of electricity. But for 9 minutes, it will reduce drastically. And again, it has to be upped, right? So it was a concern that during this 9 minutes, because of the sudden drop of the power, some voltage acceleration will be there. Some voltage will increase and there will be a probability of the grid failure. Okay, and that is why many people, after the Prime Minister announces, this started coming in news, isn't it? That it is again a botched up thing or something like that. Okay, so around 10 to 12 gigawatt of the power demand was expected to be vanished. So what they have done basically, so they started shedding the power from 8 p.m. itself. So for example, this is the power demand and they started reducing it. So that sudden jump is not there at the 9 p.m. Then they start, okay, increasing that 9 p.m. so that it picks up. So that there can be some gradual thing can be there rather than some abrupt thing. Okay, so that is why it was in the news. The National Load Dispatch does not have adequate electricity storage mechanism that can be employed. So they have to employ this particular mechanism. Again, it was in the news because the chairman of this institute has said that we will use artificial intelligence for the demand forecasting. Okay, right. So we are done with the institutions as well. Now we'll finally see the COVID-centric initiatives. First is COVID-19 quarantine alert system. So from the name itself, quarantine alert system. So if you are in quarantine and you go out of the quarantine, the system will work. Okay. So the idea is to collect the phone data, including the device location, a common secure platform, alert the local agencies in the case of violation by the COVID patient under the watch or in isolation. But someone who has been in quarantine in one of the most efficient state, that is Kerala, I haven't seen this quarantine being enforced very efficiently. Even I was in the capital city, so quarantine was not very well enforced. Maybe during the April month or during the March month it was being done, but in the June month it was not there. So this initiative is done by the DOT, Department of Telecommunication, right? Has shared the standard operating procedure with all telecom providers regarding this particular system. One more concept was in news, that is geofencing. Okay, so what is this? So this particular system only prepares a list of the mobile numbers, aggregates them on the basis of the telecom service provider, and the location data provided by telecom companies is run on the application to create a geofencing. What does this mean? For example, you are in quarantine, right? So they have created a geofencing based upon your location. They have created a area, virtual area. So whenever you go out of this area, okay, the system will work. The alert system will work. Now this idea of the geofencing is not new, in fact. For example, you are walking in the Connaught Place in Delhi, for example. Now you have your apps and you say where is the nearest Domino's pizza. So that also works on the idea of geofencing. So it will have a geofencing. So whenever if there is a Domino's and you are here, it will alert you, right? So geofencing, first of all, is not a new idea, but it is being used with respect to the COVID-19, and that is explained here also. So it's a location-based service which an app or other software use GPS, RFID, or Wi-Fi. Any technology can be used. So they will create a virtual boundary around a geographical location, and that will be known as the geofence. Okay, right. Next is a micro plan for containing the local transmission of coronavirus. Again, not very important, but micro plans will be there. I don't think that is really important, but micro plans for planning at the micro level or the macro level. Macro level means at the central level. Unlock 1, lockdown 1, lockdown 2, lockdown 3, lockdown, unlock 1, unlock 2, unlock 3. That micro level means at the level of panchayats. Okay, so it is being released by the health ministry. Okay, so it has placed panchayat at the forefront of the increasing community mobilization, ensuring active surveillance. Now, why panchayats are giving the responsibility? Because panchayats are to be seen as the eyes and the ears of the community. Okay, so even if people escape, the officials, for example, an IAS officer or a PCS officer is there who is responsible for it, people can be skeptical with respect to him or her, but with respect to the panchayat, there will be a community surveillance on the people, especially people who are under the quarantine. Hence, the participation of the panchayats, the community, the civil society organization is very critical in ensuring the entry and exit into a village or a district, more importantly the villages, and ensuring that the people who are under the quarantine, they remain under the quarantine. If people are showing some symptoms, they should report it, get them tested, right? Like that, do the contact tracing if anyone is tested positive. Government has allowed the panchayat also to use the funds that are given by the 14th Finance Commission. So if you remember, 14th Finance Commission has changed the way the fund have been distributed. So they have also earmarked directly the funds to the panchayats and the urban local bodies. So the government has said the funds that have been earmarked to you by the 14th Finance Commission, you can use it with respect to the COVID-19 activities. Right, so health ministry released the micro plan to track the local transmission in the defined geographical areas. Then, as I told you, we will revise all the portions of governance 1 and the governance 2 which are related to the COVID-19, very specific. So first one is I got e-learning platform. So very quickly, so this program is started by the DOPT for the health workers or the COVID warriors who are at the forefront. So providing them training, updates with respect to the how to cope up with this particular pandemic. Then we have the Yukti web portal. It is with respect to the MHRD. So where all the initiatives and the activities taken by the MHRD will be placed on the website, right? So that people can see or the students or the other stakeholders can see the initiatives being taken by the MHRD. Then we have the COVID Gyan website by the Ministry of Science and Tech. So it is with respect to providing them not the false information but the science based information or the factual information, correct information with respect to the COVID-19, so that people can take the more informed decision. Then we have COVID India Seva platform, that is by the health ministry, so providing real time answers to the query of the people with respect to the COVID-19. Then we have cares program, so that is the overarching umbrella under which we are providing the COVID-19 um, to the people, COVID-19 related news or COVID-19 related measures. So overall idea is under the cares, that is COVID-19 active response and expenditure support program. So we have taken some loan from the Asian Development Bank, right? Under the state government, we have seen Operation Shield of the Delhi government. So Shield we have seen. So immediate sealing of the immediate area, right? Providing them essential services and all these things. So these are the COVID related facts. Now quickly revise. So that's the end of our session. Let us see what we have discussed today. We started with the Nidhi program, Nidhi Prayas program. So Prayas is a component under the Nidhi program. Okay. Why it was in the news? Because a technological solution named as is SciTech Aeron is been released. So SciTech Aeron, what it will do? It will provide some sort of mass sterilization or in the areas such as hospitals, so as to provide relief to the doctor, nurses and all these people. Based upon the detergent based technology, it will reduce the negative ions that will tackle or kill all these pathogens. Next is, we have read the EIA notification for the amendment for the production of the bulk drugs. So in the March, we have seen the government has gone for the schemes to promote, to incentivize the companies to produce the bulk drugs in India. And again, to incentivize them more, they have said, okay, EIA notification is not mandatory. Then we have read about EIA clearance, not very detail we have read, but just from A to B2 that was done, we have explained this, right? Then we have read about India Child Protection Fund. So when it was established, it is not a government initiative. Then Bureau of Outreach, that is under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Then we have read STPI, or Software Technology Park of India, under the METI. Then interesting, Power System Operations Corporation Limited. It was for the, in context, remember the context. So context was 5 April 9 p.m. for 9 minutes. Then we have COVID-19. With respect to the COVID-19 quarantine alert system, we have seen the concept of the geofencing. Then microplan for containing the local transmission of the coronavirus disease, right, by the health ministry. So with this, we finish the governance of the April month. So we are done with the governance April month. We will be starting with the May month soon, right? So see you in the next class, everyone. Bye bye for now. Thank you.